What's up, guys? This is episode 2 of the Daily Wrestling Hotline. I'm Dominic D'Angelo of Brass Ring Media. Boom. And I am happy to talk today. This is Tuesday, May 20th, 2025. This is the second rendition of the show. Yesterday, I had my first episode where I talked about El Grande Americano. Is it offensive? So go back and listen to that. You can catch my viewpoint there. And get some details about how this show is set up and what my future plans might be for this series that will air every Monday through Friday at the very least, with the topic at hand. Last night, WWE Raw took place and made me think about something. And I think this was the intent in a lot of ways. Saturday night's main event's coming up here, obviously this Saturday, and Logan Paul staking his claim to go up against Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. Made me think about Jey Uso's reign. Made me think about the potential reign for a Logan Paul World Championship run. This was well over a year ago. I wrote an article for SE Scoops making the case for Logan Paul to be a world champion. Particularly at that time, it was the WWE Championship because I think he was feuding with Cody Rhodes, and it just made me think about the value of having somebody like that. Now, Paul is obviously a polarizing character, not just in wrestling, but outside of it too. And but my goodness, what a organic and great just personality to have in pro wrestling. He's obviously athletic and really, really talented in the ring at such a young age for the business, like getting into there and being new to it. You hear what you hear about, how they set matches up and it's super orchestrated and really tailored to him. I don't necessarily feel that's a slight against him whatsoever because he's just clearly very good at what he does and super just fits the bill from what you want in somebody in the ring nowadays. But also he's that classic heel. He embraces everything, every bit of it. He's a chicken shit heel, and you do not get that nowadays in pro wrestling. So many heels. Ricky Morton actually just made a social media comment about this. Let me see if I can even pull it up because it's really smart. Obviously, Ricky Morton's a legend in the business and knows what he's talking about. So Ricky Morton, rightfully so, gave his opinion online about what a classic heel is. And so I'm going to pull that up. But we did get Logan Paul opening up Raw and saying what he wanted to say about Jey Uso and his potential as a world champion. So I think they teased it. I would not be against Logan Paul winning the world championship on Saturday. And here's why. I think you're on a prominent basic cable television platform here in NBC, so big thing going on. And so it puts it on a huge platform, and you have a star that is a crossover star. Obviously, he's such a big YouTube influencer and big personality in that. And I think that is what you're looking for. So to have him get the win, you're going to create headlines outside of pro wrestling. And WWE is really, really about that. Now, the combativeness to all that is, hey, Jey Uso just won that world championship. And I understand that. But at the same time, too, I also think that the mission was accomplished with Jey Uso at WrestleMania. He tapped out Gunther. He made, he lived up to his story and very much finished the story for himself. And so he is now legitimately main event Jey Uso. He was on the main event of Raw last night. He lived up to it. He's the world champion, and he looks credible. And so you have a top star. He's selling your merchandise. He's doing all that stuff. So, boom, mission accomplished with Jey Uso. There's plenty of ways for Jey Uso to look strong in defeat at Saturday night's main event. I think the title reign, the length of the title reign necessarily doesn't matter. You can have him come back and get in that world title picture, that WWE title picture later on down the line. but I think you really, really accomplished what you were setting out here to do with Jey Uso. And I think there is just a lot more value right now in Logan Paul being your world heavyweight champion, especially because if you think about it, Paul was in that match a couple years ago with Roman Reigns, that world title match, that WWE Championship match. He lost it. But other than that, Paul hasn't really lost a whole lot. I mean, in certain ways he has. Yeah, I mean, matches and things like that. But from a world championship or title reign standpoint, he's looked very strong. So for him to lose maybe another world championship opportunity, that kind of cuts him down a little bit because, yeah, it just, you have this track record of him losing world championship opportunities, straight up. And so I think you flip this all on its head and have Logan Paul become your world champ, adds exciting element in an off season for WWE. That's been, WrestleMania, hangover stuff. And yeah, I think WWE's done a pretty darn good job at trying to keep eyes on the product post WrestleMania, but you're always going to have that kind of lull and hangover going. So if you have Logan Paul become your world heavyweight champion, there's some interest there, and there's a lot of cool stuff. And I think a good companion to that aspect and the story is what they're doing with Gunther. Is he the baby face now? Well, that's an intriguing aspect to a lot of this. Is Gunther being a baby face and kind of being on the right side of things. When you have a heel like Logan Paul, you have a heel faction like Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker, Paul Heyman, all in the mix here. And so Gunther is kind of drew a line in the sand where there's that element of respect for Pat McAfee, which really felt like a head scratcher here at Backlash, because you thought Gunther was going to be this ruthless killer heel, and you don't necessarily will have that. It seemed like a bad follow-up even last week on Raw, but here they're pivoting him, really positioning him as this baby face. Could this all be a ruse where you think about what they did at Survivor Series 1998 with The Rock, and he was positioned big time as a baby face. This, oh my God, everybody's excited for The Rock, and then boom, rug pulled out from under you. Here it is. It's Russo's best swerve he ever did, was he had The Rock join the corporation, and then you set fire to this to the corporation faction, make Rock this big top time heel against adversaries like Mick Foley and Steve Austin, and so on and so forth. Is that something potentially in the cards? Perhaps. But I started to think, too, what we saw later on the episode of Raw when it came to Rusev. Rusev is very much in that heel role, and he's going up against Akira Tozawa next week. But, I mean, he kind of fills up that void, that heel void left by Gunther if Gunther turns babyface. So there could be a lot of cool stuff going on here when it comes to what you're doing with your baby faces and heels and some new, fresh coat of paint, as Bruce Pritchard would say, for a lot of these stars. Let's not forget somebody that might be in the mix too, from a heel or babyface standpoint, maybe a top heel standpoint, Karrion Kross. His merchandise is selling like really, really well. They're selling his merchandise at live events now. It's something to dog ear and think about. But I really think there's great value in Logan Paul being your world heavyweight champion after Saturday. You elevate Paul to a big level. He's a crossover star, so that'll create a lot of news. He takes that title wherever he goes on top of it. And then not to mention that you're on NBC. It's a big platform. This makes it feel like a real big deal, and sets some nice things up for this quote-unquote off season of WWE when you're on the WrestleMania hangover. So some cool stuff in play here with this. And then you also make Saturday night's main event feel like tune-in television, appointment television. But hey, wow, we had a big world title change here, and Logan Paul made history here tonight. So there's a lot that you can do with this. And so, yeah, I am 100% for Logan Paul becoming your next WWE World Heavyweight champion at Saturday night's main event. Should be a fun show. Maybe talk about this tomorrow. More on Saturday's main event tomorrow. Maybe I'll have a different opinion that I'll give on the topic. But guys, if you like what you're hearing, please hit like, subscribe to the channel, Brass Ring Media. And if you're very interested, go to Patreon. Sign up for the Patreon. Zach Haydorn does wonderful content there. Tyler Sage. We have a lot of fun stuff cooking here for Brass Rings Media. And this is one of the shows that you can catch, but you can catch some other stuff too, like cleaning up the dirt sheet. Might be another show on the horizon here that I'm going to do with a buddy. News on the forefront of that coming soon. I want to do Hot Tag. If you're not familiar with that, that was an old WrestleZone show I used to do, which was Around the Horn. And fittingly enough, Around the Horn's coming to an end this Friday here. Crazy to think about. I have to, honestly, I got to credit a lot of my, geez, this is like an epiphany for me. I have to credit a lot of my career aspirations from Around the Horn. I'll talk about this maybe later on, but I interviewed Woody Page my freshman year of college. We had to interview somebody in the media business of what we wanted to do in the field for a school project, a class project. And I called the Denver Post, left a message for Woody Page. Woody Page got back to me on his lunch break, and I talked to him for like 15 minutes on the phone in my underwear on the dorm room floor because my landline phone dropped in between my laundry bar that was on my door. And so I couldn't adjust it in time, and I just laid on the floor in my underwear after a nap talking to Woody Page. So I have to give a whole lot of credit to Around the Horn for what I'm doing today. So, all right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow here on the Daily Wrestling Hotline. Call 91900 909 9900.